One thing that is also great that you should watch that no one saw, and that's okay, I understand why, is Blade Runner 2049. I've been kicking around my list of my favorite movies this year, which surprisingly has become very difficult to wind down to 10, so I won't do that. I'm just going to throw it out there eventually. Max and I will do
we'll do an end of the year thing. We'll list all the stuff you should have seen, but you didn't.
Blade Runner 2049 came out last weekend. It is a sequel to a movie from 30 years ago.
35-year-old movie, yeah.
It is one of the most sort of bleak, visually striking, and gorgeously dystopian movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how this got made. I know it costs a lot of money. It has an incredible cast, and it's making nothing. No one saw it. I saw it opening weekend. There were maybe 7 people in the entire theater.
This movie is a bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to look at something like Valerian, which is also a bomb. That had like a bunch of weird. The way they funded that was very strange, and it was also like based on a 50-year-old French comic book. Like Blade Runner,
were also very divisive.
Exactly, yeah. Like Blade Runner is getting almost like unanimous like positive criticism.
Yeah.
It's the sequel to a fantastic. Was it Ridley Scott's second or third movie?
Yep.
It's what he made immediately after Alien. It's a fantastic film. The problem with the first Blade Runner, though, is that people are always like, which version do I watch? Because the theatrical version's got this corny voiceover, and the director's cut that came out in 1994 is like really just, it's not really a director's cut. They just cut out a bunch of stuff. And then there's a final cut that came out in 2007, which is the version you should be watching. But a lot of people just don't know how to approach it because it's sort of daunting in that sense.
Yeah.
And then, end of the day, it's not a fun movie.
No.
Like, these aren't fun movies. You're like, oh, what's this movie about? Oh, it's about a guy who hunts androids. You're like, oh, that sounds exciting. And it's like, not really. It's kind of just like a weird, dark, brooding, like, they're movies about humanity, kind of, but also like,
it's like it's very difficult to, and I felt the same way sort of talking about something like Mother or Requiem for a Dream, where I'm like, you got to see this movie, but don't, because like it'll really hurt you.
Yeah.
Like I didn't walk out of Blade Runner 2049 being like, yeah, I feel great about things.
No, it's something sort of masochistic about it.
Yeah.
Like it's bleak. And then you walk outside and you're like, well, there's pollution and there's neon signage and there's all kinds of stuff wrong with the world, but it could be worse.
Yeah.
It could be worse, like it was in there. But
I think there's something to be said for, sort of negative escapism, right?
Oh,
And
totally.
I think we escape all the time into fantasy cartoon worlds. We go to Disneyland, we go on rides, we watch saccharine cartoon enjoyable movies and sing along to the soundtracks in our cars. But there's something about this that feels equally comforting in that it's so bad in this movie that as bad as it is here, it's not as bad as it is there yet.
yeah.
But it might be.
Well, one thing I love about it too is as far as like futurism goes, there's a lot in Blade Runner that's just, it's alienating and uncomfortable, and it's just, you look at it and you're like, it doesn't fully explain what it is doing technologically. Like you look at the Void Comp test where they're trying to see if someone's a replicant, or just various little tidbits of technology, and it's stuff that you look at it and you're like, I don't understand that. But if you looked at, I don't know, Apple EarPods like 30 years ago, you'd be like, what is that? Like, how is that functioning?
Right.
Because Bluetooth doesn't communicate. You don't just look at it and you're like, I understand how that works, because if you understood how it worked, you would have invented it.
Exactly.
And in this case, it's just this sort of like, it's almost like a nightmare in that you're like, it feels unnatural, and that's how like the future should be.
I think also, like, if you're even remotely interested in like gorgeous cinematography, or you want to become a filmmaker or something someday, like this, even if you're a painter, an artist, anyone that cares about how something is framed, you should see this movie, because I don't really think there's anything like it. I've been describing it to friends as it sort of feels like we got away with something being able to see this, because it feels, you know, 1 in a million that we were able to steal another 2.5 hours from this incredible world.
And maybe in 35 years we'll get another sequel, but I wouldn't really count on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of world I want to keep going back to. The fact that we got to go there twice is amazing. I'm going to check out all the sort of shorts that they put out before. That
the guys who did Cowboy Bebop made a bunch of short anime sequences that are set, like they're set before the Blade Runner movie, but something, it's very cool. I still need to watch those too.
Yeah, we were talking about diving on the art book and letting you guys know if it's worth picking up.
Yeah.
I saw there's, I think NECA's making some action figures and stuff like that, and there's of course Funko Pops, but there really isn't a lot of fanfare around this movie. It's
Go see it. Go see the movie, please. Just go see it.
Please go
if
see
you liked it, tell your friends, get people to go see it. It's infuriating. If you'd like to learn more about Blade Runner, pick up the final cut on Blu-ray, whatever, and then watch the documentary that I believe comes on the disc. It's called Darkest Days or Dark Days or something like that. And it's a wonderful behind-the-scenes making of that explains exactly how screwed up the production of Blade Runner was initially. And this time around, the production wasn't too screwed up, but it still bombed at the box office. So
unsurprisingly, but I mean, sometimes like not everything is for everyone, but that's okay.
First of all, go see Blade Runner. Second of all, check out the interview I got to do with the cast of Blade Runner 2049 as well as the director. And hey, here's Up at Noon's 5 movies you might have missed because they're small and weird and, well, anyway, we like them.